Hey guys, Kyle Wells with Kyle Wells Music, and tonight, welcome to episode one of Inside the Song, where you guys can find out a little bit more about me and my songwriting and what makes me tick as an artist. So, tonight, we're going to talk about the first song off Land for Sale EP, and that's the title track, Land for Sale. So, before I start going into the story about Land for Sale, the reason that I enjoy songwriting so much is that I'm not much of a storyteller. If you get me in a crowded room, I can't captivate the attention of the crowd by telling a one liner with a story. So, music and songwriting has given me the opportunity to do that. So, with that being said, Land for Sale, the story came about a few years back. We had a severe drought going on in southern North Dakota and northern South Dakota, where my family ranches at. And it seemed like a very fitting idea for the time. It was dry. A guy was running around trying to make hay and do all that sort of stuff. But so as I was thinking about that in the drought, I thought about the story of a person that had a large outfit going on. In this case, the guy, he had 20 sections, and it was a proud place that had been built up by his dad and his granddad, and things seem to be going really well. But sometimes there's things outside of our control that we can't cope with or deal with. No matter how well you're doing, events such as drought or sickness in the family or just financial hardships can completely erase everything that you have strived so hard to build. But so the idea behind this song was that, based upon the drought, that this guy was doing really well, and just like that, it had to go away. In the chorus where I say, when the money runs out and the clouds don't rain, well, sometimes money runs out, and especially if you've been going through a few years of hard times, like with drought or just low prices or something like that, this definitely can happen. And no matter what you do or how hard you work, you can't control the things that are happening in that regard. So it's really, it's a sad story. I'm a very positive, optimistic person. This is probably going to be one of the saddest songs I ever write, but it's very true. A lot of people in agriculture, I'm not saying they work any harder or any less than anybody else, but our livelihoods are dictated by markets and weather, and we can have a really good year one year, and then the next year we can have half of the income. And I know for a matter of fact, in a lot of other jobs, it's not the case that you go to work every day, you get paid. Well, farming and ranching, there's never any guarantee of how that's going to shake out. But so anyway, that's the majority of what this Land for Sale song is about, is just the unfortunate events of a rancher that his whole life was this ranch, and he did everything he could to keep it going. And just like that, it was gone from him. And he hired on to to stay with the outfit, to work the only thing that he's ever known in his life, which is ranching. And I can imagine that's a pretty tough pill to swallow, to have to manage and operate the place that you grew up with your whole life. Now it's under a name of somebody else, and you're just the day help. You know what I mean? But what I what I really want to focus on is in the last verse, excuse me. I talk about the empty tree rows speak for themselves, another generation is gone with land for sale. So, like many other rural places, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, there's a lot of places that at one time, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. You drive through the country and you see old abandoned farmsteads and tree rows and stuff like that. And for those of you that know your history, people came up into North and South Dakota in the early 1900s and they homesteaded, and a lot of them carried on and made a really good go at that for a long time. But there's some that, unfortunately, drought, couldn't make payments on their note. They had to sell out and move out. But some of the families that made a go of it for a lot longer, they made it well into the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then the 80s hit, and that wiped out a lot of people from the farming and ranching communities too. High interest rates, stuff like that. And I think about that when you go by all these old places. I mean, a lot of them, you can tell at one time, I mean, it would have been sweet, huge trees and old houses and stuff like that. Um, and I was fortunate enough to get to visit with my grandparents a lot growing up about who used to live there and kind of what their story was. But I know there's a lot of people that had to move out um, long before anybody really got to know their story. And what I mean by that is, well, our great grandparents might have known them, but I'll never know them, and maybe my grandparents didn't know them either. You know what I'm saying? So, but it, what it made me think about was, with our rural communities, what would it be like if all of those families that came out here way back in the day, what if they were still here? Now, unfortunately, they're not, and with them not being here, there's obviously more land to rent and or buy. It gives young guys like myself or either even bigger operations a chance to grow. But at the same time, a lot of our small communities are dying, and it sure would be nice if we had some more people back in the area, keep schools open, keep businesses open, things of that. So, the land for sale song itself is not just about the misfortunes of one rancher, it's about rural communities in general, just kind of the decline over the years. And don't get me wrong, too, the people that are left here are amazing, good neighbors, good people to have on your side and be friends with and so on. But yeah, it's definitely more than just a song about one guy going down with the hard times. And to clear this up, this song isn't about any one person in general. It's just ideas I was having when we had that drought up here a couple years ago, you know, and just a guy, when you spend a lot of time in a tractor cab or a truck, you think about a lot of these things. So that's kind of where my mind was when I wrote Land for Sale, and I guess that's all I have for that song. I'm gonna try to do this inside the song. Um, every week I'm gonna try to get one of these out, and I'm also working on setting up a either two song Tuesday or two song Thursday. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to play either two of my original songs or two cover songs. And I'm going to try to make a weekly deal with that so you guys have some new content and stuff. The Land for Sale EP is available on Facebook here. You can go watch any of the lyric videos that I have. Spotify under Kyle Wells or any of the other major streaming services of your choice. You can choose whichever one you like. And also a YouTube channel, Kyle Wells, my official artist channel on YouTube. I'm going to have these videos on there as well. Thank you guys all so much for checking in on all the content. It's really cool. Had some people message me and say they like the music from places that I never would have imagined it would have reached that far. But that's the beauty of the internet and things like that. So thank you guys all so much for liking, commenting, sharing. Please feel free to do that with these videos. Um, I also am booking for my acoustic shows for the spring and the summer and into the fall. So if you guys know a bar or a local venue or something that would like to have some live music for acoustic shows, please have them message me on Facebook, or my contact info is on there. So um, I look forward to hearing from you guys. I'd love to hear some comments about this or just your insight, what the song means to you. And we'll keep going from there. I sure appreciate it, you guys. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and take care.